July 30th, 2021. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 238 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Well, as we go to press right now, it was just announced a little while ago, masks are coming back to Las Vegas. It's unfortunate. I think we kind of saw it coming because, you know, as the cases increase and there's talk about, you know, more infections and the Delta variant and what have you, they were encouraging, you know, more mask wearing, and, you know, here it comes, and Vegas is going to be a part of that.
Well, yeah, and here in San Diego, same thing. The county is now recommending that everybody wear their masks indoors.
Yeah.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, you still need to wear a mask. So I imagine out at Harrah's Rincon, when we go this weekend, we'll probably see people wearing masks again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how the casino feels about that, but they are recommending that you do it.
Yeah,
so.
And I'll probably wear one. You probably will too.
Well, I wore mine last week.
You're around, you know, all your patients all day long, so
I can't afford to
yeah.
test positive again.
And like I said, I kind of like the idea of not catching other things like a cold or
right.
You know, anything else.
Sure. Even though this isn't particularly cold and flu season yet, but.
And I got kind of used to wearing the mask. So it is unfortunate. I mean, there's no question it's unfortunate. But again, they kind of just announced that before we started recording here. So if you have a trip planned for Las Vegas, just be prepared for that. We didn't hear any talk about plexiglass dividers going back up or limiting the number of players. So,
I didn't hear any talk about separation, just that the governor mandated masks to be worn indoors.
Yeah, so again, if you've got a trip coming up, be prepared at least for that, at least for masks.
Right.
So, Now, Mike, on our last episode, you had some really good advice on how low rollers can play at craps tables with these high minimums that we're currently seeing.
Right.
You know, after the shutdown, when they did come back on and they did limit the number of players, the minimums went back up. And at least at some places, the minimums are staying fairly high, certainly higher than before COVID.
Yes, out at Harrah's Rincons, for instance, they open the tables back up and they have full, tables. I mean, they 6 to 8 players on a side because it's kind of hard. Their tables aren't that big with 8, but you can definitely get 6.
Right, because they have chairs at the tables.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons.
That's one of the reasons that they're you can't get 8 chairs around there.
Right.
But they did not lower the limits.
No,
have you noticed?
3 tables on a weekend night. 2 will be 25 and 1 will be 50.
Right?
Yeah, they have not.
Only on the roll to win craps, those sometimes will have a lower.
The ones
but even they're like $15.
Yeah, right.
They're not $5 or anything.
Yeah. Well, our friend Pat from Canada, who does have a trip planned in August.
Yes.
Well, I hope that goes through because, they're just reopening the borders up there, right? Canada, they haven't been able to.
They're finally letting Canadians out and other people in, and now it may go the other way. I don't know.
Hopefully Pat's trip will still go through. Again, he's going in August. But he sent us an email and had another suggestion for low rollers at these high limit tables. And I'm so glad he wrote to us because this is actually something that we've done in the past too, and we continue to do even.
We continue to do this regularly. I don't know why we didn't mention it, but we do it all the time.
Yeah. So here is Pat's suggestion. So if you're, say, a $5 player, normally you try to find a $5 craps table, and let's say you're doing a 3-point molly. That's where you have a pass line bet and 2 come bets with odds. So, you'd have $5 on the pass line. And let's say the point comes out as 6. And again, let's say you're at a 3, 4, 5 times odds table, which a lot of the strip casinos are. So you can take $25 on that 6. And then you make 2 come bets. Maybe you go up on an 8 and a 9. You put $25 odds on the 8, $20 odds on the 9. And then you play like that. And that's how it goes. Well, if you're at a $25 table, why not do this? Why not mimic come betting? In other words, don't make a pass line bet, but let's say the shooter comes out on 6. Well, now place the 6 for $30.
Right.
It's the same amount that you would have had if you'd had a $5 pass line bet and backed it up with $25 odds.
Yeah, all you're giving up is that 7-11 on the come out, which you're also saving money on the 2, 3, and 12.
That's true. So that's not nothing. Because you do have that edge on the come out.
So
you are giving that up. But it'll allow you to basically risk the same amount of money once points are made. And again, you do the same thing with your come bets.
Two nice things about that. You could mimic the rolls. So let's say the second roll is a 5.
Yeah.
Then you could just say, give me a $25 5. So it has like you had a come bet. You just place it after a 5 has come up.
But really pretend like you're come betting.
Yeah,
even to the point where, let's say, okay, you're on the 5, 6, and 8. Right?
Oh, and you would take it down after they hit once.
When it hit, you take it down as if your come bet were coming down. And now you're only risking 2 numbers, just like you would if come bet. Now, that takes discipline.
Yeah, it takes
because,
a lot of discipline.
Dealers aren't going to suggest you bring a place bet down. They never do.
No.
And most people don't.
Right. Well, you could, if anyone said anything, you say, well, I'm pretending like I'm come betting. I'm seeing how this goes.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing. Just tell them what you're doing. They'll appreciate that. Oh, okay, I got you.
And the other thing that Pat brought up, and this is very true, you're going to get a much better rating doing that.
Yes.
Place bets get a better rating than come bets.
Right, because at a lot of casinos, maybe most casinos, you do not get credit for the odds that you take.
Yeah.
So
or you get limited credit.
Right. I know there are some places who do give you a little bit. But again, the house has no edge on those odds bets.
Right. So they would much rather prefer you to make place bets.
Yeah.
And then you get rated better. So it's in the end, it's better for you.
Because if you just a $5 come bet with $25 odds, you're getting rated for a $5 bet.
Right.
But a $30 place on the 6, you're getting rated for $30.
Right.
Now, I do want to emphasize again, you are missing out on the come out roll. And some people just like, oh, well, whatever. But it does add up in the long run.
Yeah.
So, just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
keep that in mind. So another good suggestion. And thanks again, Pat, for emailing us.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get to have a trip and then he'll do well when he's there.
I know. We haven't seen him in a long time. And he was talking about going in October. And you and I were considering going in October. And that trip is still up in the air. We have not made any.
It's going to depend on what happens with COVID and stuff.
Yeah, that's a new twist. We were actually talking just for financial reasons and, the time off that you've missed some work. And,
I'd have to take some time off, which I can't really do right now.
Yeah.
And then also, if COVID gets bad again, I don't know that I want to go.
Yeah, right.
And we can go here to Harris.
And what if it gets really bad and you have to shut down again? God forbid. I don't think that'll happen, but
better not happen.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I'm going to tell you about a new craps bet that you've probably never heard of, a side bet. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. It's called Muggsy's Corner, right? They put it where the big 6 and 8 normally is.
Okay.
Right? Muggsy's Corner.
Where do they move the big 6 and 8?
It's gone, baby. Gone.
Come on, that can't be. You can't tell me it just disappeared. The big 6 and 8, the most popular bet in most casinos?
I'll tell you what. If you told the dealer, here, I want to place the 8 for $30, but only pay me even money, they'll say, okay, we'll do that.
We can do that. We'll do that at our casino. We'll suggest it. Well, here, just put it on this big 6, and there's no confusion. You're betting on 6. Look how big it is.
They'll give you the $30, and then they'll take the extra $5. Yeah. They'll just drop that.
Yeah, that's a toke.
All right, Muggsy's Corner. So Heather Ferris from Vegas-Aces.com has a video on YouTube showing how the bet works. You make the bet on a come-out roll. If the come-out roll is 2, 3, 11, or 12, it automatically loses.
Okay.
But if the come-out roll is a 7, the bet wins 2-1.
Okay.
Okay. Not even money, 2-1. All right. In the case where a point is established, the bet stays out there. And if the very next roll is a 7, the bet pays 3-1.
So you get paid on an immediate 7 out.
Right.
And you get paid on a 7 on the come out.
Right. And anything else is a loser.
Is a loser. Okay. So they leave it out there until the next roll just to see if 7 comes up.
Correct.
7 doesn't come up, it loses.
It loses, yes.
And then can you make another bet at that point?
No.
Or is that's done until the next come out roll?
Right, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just do it on the come out roll. Very simple.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun for those, immediate 7 outs, 0.7 out.
Oh, the don't players are going to love it, right? They're going to be betting that like crazy. I'm going to win there and I'm going to win my don't pass set.
So I don't know if it's something that's going to catch on necessarily. It's got a 5.5% house edge, which is not as bad as, the prop bets in the middle of the table. Right. But I thought it was kind of interesting. You know, we hear so many side bets that are kind of based on very similar things, like, you know, the hot shooter and the fire bet and, you know, repeaters. And this one's a little different.
This one's based on being a bad shooter.
Well, I guess so, except the 7
you make the most money when it's a bad roll.
It's when people who roll a lot of 7s.
Yeah.
Right? Because you win the 7 and they come out and then you win with the immediate.
Okay, so all those dice setters, they're going to have to practice rolling 7s.
Yeah,
now.
they're going to undo what they've learned.
They're just going to roll normal, establish a point, and then be able to set the dice and roll a 7. You'd clean up.
Yeah.
3 times your money.
Yeah. And if you accidentally don't come out on a point, you probably did roll a 7 and you win there too.
You win there too, yeah.
Yeah. Attention all dice controllers.
Yeah, forget about not rolling 7s. Now you're focusing on rolling 7s, right?
Yep, exactly.
Wow. It's a game changer, Mark. Game changer.
So, not at a lot of casinos yet, but this might be one that catches on. I don't know. It doesn't have the excitement that most side bets. That's the problem, right? Is most of the side bets
7 out, line away.
It's big.
Pay Muggsy's corner.
3 to 1.
That's gonna be
Here's your $15, sir.
Yeah, what do you think the limit on that's going to be?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Is it going to be the table limit? Or, you know, like on a $25 table, you can make a $5 hardway bet.
Yeah.
Is it going to be just $5 there? Or you got to bet $25?
That's a good question. I don't know what the minimum would be.
Table max?
Or the max.
Or the max. I'd like to see, $2,500. Oh, great. I get, $7,500.
Well, I'll put a link to Heather's video in our show notes so people can take a look.
Seriously, I'd like to see the limits on that.
Okay.
That'd be interesting.
I'll try to look into that. I don't know. I would think it'd be fairly closely tied to the table limits.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, some guy gets lucky, gets a few immediate outs, he could clean up with make a $1,000 bet there.
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to, 1 in every 3 shooters would have to have an immediate out so you could.
Well, but no, you win on the come out roll too.
Yeah, you win on those 7s too.
See? So.
Hey, I kind of like this bet.
Okay, I thought you might.
We'll see how long it stays around.
Well, that's the thing. We have to find it. So
right.
All right, let's talk craps just a little bit more. Now, listener Ann is going to Vegas in a couple weeks, and she wants to try out a modified version of the Iron Cross system for craps. She got the idea from Jeremy at the Color Up Craps YouTube channel, who in turn got it from Greg at the 555 Craps YouTube channel. A modified Iron Cross. So let's talk about a regular Iron Cross first of all. It's a system in craps where, and we'll use $5 let's say it's a $5 table. We'll use $5 as an example, where you make a $5 bet in the field, and then you place the 5 for $5 and the 6 and 8 for $6. So now you've got money on every single number except a 7. Right?
Correct.
If a 5, 6, or 8 comes up, the field loses, the place bet pays $7, so your net win on that roll is $2. Any other roll other than a 7, and you'll get paid in the field, whatever the payout is. Even money for most of the numbers, double on 2 and hopefully triple on 12, but whatever it is.
Right.
The idea being, you'll win on every roll.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit.
A little bit, right. Yeah.
Right.
And you kind of don't want 5, 6, or 8 to come up.
Right.
You prefer the other numbers.
You prefer the other numbers, exactly.
But if they do come up, you're covered.
Right.
Well, this modified version takes away 7 as the losing number and makes 5 the losing number.
Oh, okay.
So what you do is, again, $5 in the field, $6 each on the 6 and 8, and then you lay the 5 for $30. And again, a lay bet is you're betting against that number. You're betting that a 7 will come up before that number.
Right.
And if you make a $30 lay bet on the 5 and 7 comes up, that'll pay $20. Pays 2 to 3 plus VIG. They charge you VIG. It might be $1 up front. It might be only on wins, but we didn't mention that. But yeah, there's that $1 VIG. So, think of it this way, right? Okay, if a field roll comes up, again, you win the $5 or, double or triple.
Right.
6 or 8 comes up, your profit is $2.
Right.
Right. If a 7 comes up, you lose $17, right? Your field and your 2 place bets.
Right.
But you win $20 on your lay bet against the 5.
Right.
So it's still a winner. So now it's exactly like I said, right? Every number winner is a winner except a 5.
Right. Then that's a big killer.
It is because, when the 5 comes up, you lose $30.
Right.
Which is a little bit more than the regular Iron Cross because in that you only lose $22. Right. The field and the 5 and the 6 and 8.
Right.
But keep in mind also 5 comes up less than 7. Right. There are only 4 ways to roll a 5, 6 ways to roll a 7.
Right.
So that's kind of the trade-off there. Kind of interesting. What do you think?
If that floats your boat, then, and I guess go for it. I find the Iron Cross extremely boring.
Well, see, that's the thing is neither one of us are really Iron Cross players. So we can't necessarily say that, we're attracted to this. But if we were...
Oh, if you were, I would go with a $30 5.
I think this would be a more enjoyable way to go because the 7 out,
you're going to love those immediate outs.
I
mean, seriously, you're going to make money on those.
Yeah,
But the Iron Cross for me, Mark, is just
I'm the same way.
It's just way too boring. How do you press on your Iron Cross?
Well, I'll tell you, the Iron Cross is a system that helps you tread water.
Right.
As opposed to have big winds.
It's a treading water system. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with playing that way if you do enjoy it. I'm certainly not going to discourage anyone from doing it.
No, and if you're on a limited budget and you want to sit at the table for 4 hours and either lose 100 or win 100, then Iron Cross probably the way to go.
Yeah.
Probably the way to go. Yeah. You're just not going to have any big wins. And you're probably not going to have too many big losses either.
I mean, anything can happen, right? The dice can just, the guy, if we're betting
One
this
guy
way,
just keeps rolling 5.
Yeah, he gets stuck on 5,
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a guy out at Harrah's that plays his Iron Cross, and it's not really an Iron Cross because what he does is he places every number.
Oh, yeah.
And then he makes a field bet. When the field bet hits, he presses 6 and 8.
Yeah.
He uses that money to press 6 and 8.
Yeah, and he'll make, he uses kind of bigger amounts. But like our example here, he would be making $6 field bets.
Right.
So that when it hits,
he can press his $6 or his $8.
Well, you know what he does, Mike? He actually presses them both.
Yeah.
He puts a $6 bet in the field, and if field wins, he presses both the 6 and 8. So, he's putting his winnings and his initial bet up there.
Right.
It's an aggressive way to go.
It makes it's a very aggressive Iron Cross method. And he told me once we were playing, he said, well, I'm a big Iron Cross guy. And I said, yeah, I can see that. But you're really not.
Yeah, right. He's not playing the Iron Cross.
No, he's not because he's got a bet on 9 and he's got a bet on 4 and 10.
Yeah,
it's like you're really
and he's not collecting the wins in the field. He's pressing.
No. What he's hoping for is a big, huge roll.
Yeah,
and then some 2s and 12s in there.
Yes,
where he gets extra money and he presses up the 6s and 8s, and all of a sudden, guy rolls 3 6s and he, So. Thing that drives me crazy about his style of play is he gets some weird amounts.
Oh yeah, because he's pressing, $6 or he gets up to 66, 72.
Yeah, right, 66 and 72, and nothing wrong with that, of course.
No.
And a good dealer, it's no big deal. But sometimes when you get some of those new dealers, they're looking at that 72. Now,
right,
what's that?
They've got to break it down.
Yeah, they're trying to break it down in their head, and it does kind of slow the game down on big rolls.
Yeah.
It takes them a while to get up there.
Well, think of all the systems, supposed crap systems we talk about, Mike.
Right.
Most of them are hoping for no 7 for a long time, right? That's how most of them are based.
Right.
So the nice thing, again, about this new modified version is it's just the 5 you don't want.
Right.
Just the 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to bring that up out at RingCon. I'm going to bring up, I got a new system for you. We'll see. We'll see if some of those regular players like that.
All right, we'll mention it.
Yeah,
okay,
I think they will.
I think so
they
too.
would like that.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to some voicemails. First up is Will.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Will from North Carolina. I just had a trip to Reno. I want to tell you guys a little bit about it. So the first thing that was really interesting is that the Atlantis, they had something on a craps table I had never seen before. Half the table was a $5 minimum, and the other half the table was a $10 minimum. And they used a little signs to designate, what the minimums were on each side. I had never seen that before. I don't know if you guys have talked about it in another episode or not, but it was really interesting because half the table was really packed. There were like 8 people at least on that side, and the other half only had like 2 people on there. And I thought it was a really clever idea, but I was curious to hear what you guys' thoughts were about that, if you haven't talked about it before. No other interesting crap stories, but I did play a lot of Face Up Pie Gal, and I had a lot of interesting stories about that. So first off, I ended up hitting 2 straight flushes within 5 hands of each other. I had never seen anything like it. Each one paid 50 to 1. I couldn't believe it. I was really, really happy with that. The second interesting thing that happened is another player was playing the ace high side bet, and he was putting $25 on it, and there were 4 ace highs in a row. The first one, the dealer had the ace, so it paid 5 to 1. The second one, the dealer had a joker, so it paid 15 to 1. The third one paid 5 to 1. And then the last one, the player also had an ace high, so it paid him 40 to 1. So he made around $1,600 just off those ace high bets. Normally the pie guy table was pretty calm, but everybody was really excited for that one. We're just kind of rooting on each ace high as they came up. And then the final story is there's another casino. We were playing Face Up Pie Gal, but the dealer did not know or did not remember that dealer ace highs were supposed to be a push. And so it was really funny. The first time it came up, everybody was setting their hands. I thought that was a little weird, but I thought maybe that's just the way this casino does it. Maybe they make the players set their hands on the ace high. So I set my hand, and it was really funny. The dealer actually scolded me because I had a pair of aces. I just played them, normal way. But he was like, look, if you had split your aces, you would have beaten me. So remember that next time. And I didn't even know what to say because I was like, oh, it was supposed to be a push. But I didn't say anything. And it's a good thing I didn't because he just went on, kept paying all the other players. And the guy next to me even whispered to me, he's like, wait a second, wasn't that supposed to be a push on the ace high? And the woman next to us was like, shh, don't say anything. And it was a good thing we didn't, because over the next 45 minutes or so, there were 3 more dealer ace highs. And he just went around and just treated it like a normal hand. Thankfully, no one ever lost it. There were a couple pushes, but most of the time people won, and we even had a couple table wins. So that was a really interesting situation. The pit never noticed it, and we just played with a little bit of advantage for that little bit. So I thought it was good. So I just want to tell you guys those stories. I always appreciate it, guys. All right, bye.
Yeah, now, just to remind listeners, in Face Up Pie Gal, the idea is that the dealer sets their hand first, and you can see it, and then set your hand accordingly. So since you have an advantage there, the way they offset that is if the dealer has an ace high, every hand is a push.
Yeah, whether you beat him or not,
right.
It's just a push.
And it's enough of an offset, they don't even collect commission. Right. So that's the way that it works. So here's a case where the dealer doesn't know this. It is kind of funny. He really should, because what's he thinking? They've given the players this huge advantage. So, this is the way the game is. But
maybe he hadn't dealt for a while and he was just used to regular pie gal.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Or had just come from a regular pie gal table, right? And wasn't thinking.
For whatever reason.
But it's extra funny that he scolded Will.
Yeah, good on Will for taking a scolding.
Yeah, instead
of keeping his mouth shut, instead of saying, well, no, it's a push either way.
Yeah, and everybody else at the table groans.
He took one for the team. He took one in the neck for the team. Yeah. Way to go, Will.
Good job, Will. Yeah, we have been at craps tables before where the minimums are different on the two sides of the table. Sometimes, they want to raise the limits, but maybe there are a bunch of people on one side and they'll say, well, we'll just raise it over here. You guys are going to play more. There are a lot of different reasons to do it. And we've been at a few tables where they've done it. Yeah.
Right. We've been at where one side's 25 and one side's 50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just because they want a $50 table. Not enough people are going to play it. So they keep the other side at 25.
Yeah.
Which, it's fine. I have no problem with two different sides.
It can get a little confusing because when you go up to a table, it's not like you check both sides. You usually look at one side and say, oh, it's a $10 table, right? But
yeah, I don't know if you're going to see too many $10 tables anywhere anymore anyway.
Okay, bad example.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, you're 15 or 25.
Yeah. During the week, we have heard about some $10 tables on the strip.
Right.
Certainly, if you go downtown, you're more likely to see some lower limits. So, yeah. All right, next call.
Hey, gentlemen, it's Jason from Michigan. I've called several times. Looking to get a little more clarity from you in your perspective, or just fill me in on the difference. And obviously I know the difference, but you got tribal casinos and then corporately held casinos around the country. And in Michigan, unfortunately, we only have tribal casinos. But I listen to a lot of Gambling Vegas podcasts, and a lot of the people on those will discourage playing in any tribal casinos and only encourage you to play in corporately held public casinos. So just curious, is it truly that big of a difference or disadvantage or advantage? And is the laws and regulations that the publicly held casinos are under that much more stringent than the tribals that it makes a difference? If you could just kind of speak to that a little bit, I'm curious. Thanks. Have a great day.
Yeah, if you're just talking about a night out at the casino, there's no difference.
Right. That's what I was going to say. If you're talking about you just go out for a few hours some night, there's really no difference.
Well, and even you and I, Mike, we go to a tribal casino every week, and
Right.
it's as if we're going to a regular casino.
Right.
The only time it could be an issue is if you had some kind of dispute with the casino.
Right. I think that's where the big difference is.
Right.
If there
Especially
was
some
something-
kind of legal dispute, something like that. Yeah.
The legality of it would be different with a corporate versus an Indian casino.
Yeah. You know, if you're in Vegas and you're on the strip and you've got some kind of beef with a casino,
Right.
well, you know, you can go to gaming and, you know, file a grievance. At tribal casinos, you might complain, but it might not go anywhere.
Right.
Bob Nersessian, who is a regular guest on Gambling with an Edge, he's a lawyer who represents a lot of advantage players. I'm not going to quote him exactly, but he basically says he won't touch tribal casino cases because,
Right.
you know,
well,
it's
as
just,
an attorney, he knows he can't win those cases.
you know,
'cause
yeah,
they, they pretty much have free range on what they do.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
set the rules.
right, you know, sovereign nation, that kind of
Right,
thing. And what,
right.
you know, what are the laws? So again, the question is, no, if you're just going to have fun and go to the casino, there's no difference.
There's no
Yeah.
difference. Yeah, the only thing is if you won something major and there was some dispute about whether you really won it or not.
Yeah, or they didn't pay you, or they thought you were counting and roughed you up, or
yeah, those would be the differences. But if you're not getting into any of that, you're a recreational gambler with a few $100s. I don't think it matters.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No. All right, next up is Ken.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Ken from South Orange County. It was great to finally meet you guys at Harrah's. I'm going to try to go out there maybe once or twice a month. Too bad the tables were really cold that day, but I'm sure we'll get some good runs in the future. I have an etiquette and instant karma story for you guys. When I was in college, I went to this bowling alley that had a casino in the back. Nothing illegal, all straight up. They had a security guard that actually would check for ID so underage people couldn't go in. I must have been going to that place way too much because one time me and my girlfriend walked up with our IDs ready and he just looked at us and laughed and said, "Your friends are already inside." So we went there a lot. Anyway, my girlfriend was playing blackjack. It was $3 a hand. And there was another guy on the table. He was at first base. He looked like he was in his 70s. And my girlfriend was in the middle, and it was just the two of them. I was just watching. And the older gentleman, he's losing and losing and losing. And my girlfriend is just winning and winning and winning. And he gets set up. He gets up, walks around us, and sits at their base. So now it's kind of like their hand switch. So now my girlfriend gets dealt first, and he gets her cards, essentially. And I looked at the dealer, and we both kind of, like rolled our eyes. And I thought that wasn't cool, but, he's an older guy, so I'm not going to make trouble or anything like that. So the dealer keeps dealing, and I guess karma was watching because my girlfriend kept winning and winning and winning, and he kept losing and losing and losing to the point where he busted out and he walked away. And as soon as he was out of sight, the dealer couldn't hold it in. He just started laughing and chuckling, and we thought that was not nice of him to do, and, well, he paid for it. So that girlfriend that was actually playing, well, now she's my wife. I married the girl who allowed me to go to the casino. So I just want to give her a little shout out. She's a great mom, great wife, and thank you for always tolerating my love for gambling. Maybe one day she'll come out and get to meet you guys too. Well, thanks for the show, and hope.
You got cut off there. Yeah, bring her on out and have her
Sounds
come
like
to the
Ken
table.
hit the jackpot there himself.
yeah.
Not only is she wins at blackjack, but he got to marry her too.
Yeah, and it was nice meeting you too, Ken. He had some good rolls when we were on the
he had
table
a
with
couple
him.
of good rolls, yeah.
that was good. This is kind of a crappy move by this player. Kind of a silly one too, because of course it doesn't matter, right?
He's thinking as soon as he moves, great, just followed me.
Now, if I had done something like that to you, that would make some kind of sense, right?
Yeah.
We're just kind of, getting on each other's nerves intentionally. Yeah, but for a stranger to do it's kind of crappy. So yeah, karma caught up with him.
He should have just gone to another table, right? I mean, well, I'm not having luck here for whatever reason.
Take a walk but just to move right away. I'll show you.
Start picking his cards up with the different hand or whatever, something. But yeah, I'll teach this girl. It was like a double thing. He was like trying to show her that if I'm in third base, I'll win now and you'll get all the losing cards. Which is kind of rude.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hey,
you shouldn't have waited till he left. I would have openly laughed at every hand
every time he busted.
Yeah. Bring out the cognac.
Hey, I want to hear more about this bowling alley with a casino in the back. He said,
it's not a casino with a bowling alley somewhere.
Right.
It's a bowling alley with a casino. The main thing is the bowling.
And you can get in there. Any age can get into the bowling alley, but you need to. And now Ken said it wasn't illegal. So what was going on? Right? Maybe they just told you it wasn't illegal, Ken. And,
right.
It's all on the up.
That's why there's a guy with an Uzi at the door. Right. No. This is on the up and up.
We're going to hear from Ken again later on in the show. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Nick from Connecticut. Longtime listener, always contemplated calling, never did. Got a quick story for you guys about craps table at Mohegan Sun. So it was a $10 table, pretty much empty table, me and three buddies on one side, and there's an older man standing behind us, not playing, just watching, and he's got, the Post-it, and he's writing down the rolls. He's keeping track for his award-winning system. And he waits and waits and waits and waits, and he finally is ready for his roll, and my buddy is about to throw the dice, and this guy lunges for the table and drops a $1,000 chip on the table and says, $800 high low, 50 in the field. And they go, bet, dice land, 12. So they pay him, I think it's about $12,000, something in that regard. And, he doesn't want to play anymore. And he doesn't end up actually taking the chips, though. He says, put it towards some marker or credit or something. He talks to the pit boss. And he just walks away. And this was probably the 6th or 7th time that I ever played craps. And I couldn't believe it. Lastly, I just want to say that the moment I heard Dr. Mike pronounce the word coupon as coupon, my heart broke. And it was like watching one of my heroes become a villain right in front of my eyes. So it's pronounced coupon. Oh, it's pronounced coupon, not coupon. I love you guys. Love your show. Thank you. Bye.
Now, Mike, you know that I am constantly correcting your pronunciation,
of everything,
your grammar,
yeah.
everything. Yeah, I basically correct everything that you do.
Well,
but sometimes
my
your speech.
mother grew up in Missouri, and my father's from a Greek island. Okay, so whatever English I learned off the streets.
Okay, all right. Well, I am jumping onto your side here, Mike, because coupon, either pronunciation is acceptable.
I've heard both.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to use coupon because that's what my mother used to say.
Sure.
But my wife says coupon.
Yeah, I say coupon. Well, sometimes I guess I will say coupon. Look at Webster's. Both pronunciations are listed there.
So I hope, Nick, I'm back in your good graces now that Mark has clarified that either one is acceptable.
We all go, okay, data and data.
Yeah.
Both are acceptable. But when I hear someone say data, oh my God, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard.
And data suggests.
The data suggest.
Yeah.
Data is a plural. So you don't say data suggests.
Oh, God.
But remember an episode, it was season 2 of Next Generation, where there's that new doctor that we didn't like.
No, and she was only on for that one season.
Very controversial, but some people loved her. Right? But we were definitely on the side that didn't like her.
I did not like her.
But she called him data once, and he corrected her.
Right.
All right? And so just remember that. Data, say data. I'm going to really geek out here. Years ago, I bought the Bible for Next Generation that Gene Roddenberry had written. That's where it's like background on all the characters and stuff like that. And in his original draft for everything, it was to be pronounced data.
Oh, really?
And so somebody must have come to him and said, Gene, this is
what
wrong.
What are you doing? Well, the reason I didn't like her is because she was condescending to everybody.
Yes, right. She was rude.
Way
and,
too condescending. And she's the ship's doctor. Okay, she's pretty high ranking, but she was way too condescending.
Yeah.
The other doctor, Dr. Crusher, she was more cordial to everybody.
Better bedside manner you'd get from Dr. Crusher. Yes,
exactly.
Right. Back to Nick's call. Yeah, that's a kind of funny story about the guy writing down all the numbers and then jumping in and, the high, low, and field, and then a 12 come up. I would say he knew what he was doing.
No,
but
he's
the fact that he was
SOB.
The fact that he was paying him off a marker after the bet won, maybe he doesn't know what he's doing.
Maybe that's how I pay my markers off. I just sense when a 12's
Start
coming.
thinking of that, Mike.
Yeah. Well, I don't have to anymore. Now I'm just going to make that Bugsy bet.
Oh, the Bugsy. You mean the Iron Cross bet or the Mugsy bet?
Mugsy bet.
The Mugsy bet. Okay.
Mugsy. Yeah. Hey, maybe they should have it at the Flamingo and call it the Bugsy bet.
Yeah, and then get sued for copyright infringement or something, right? Because the bet's already whatever. Boy, we're really going off the rails here. Let's move on to the next call.
Hi, gents. This is Peter, and I was at the Pepper Mill in Reno about a year ago, and I was playing video poker at a bar where I was having non-alcoholic beverage. That's important to the story. Just playing, basically quarter of a hand sort of thing. And then I noticed that the option of this particular game also had blackjack on it. I know the odds aren't great anyway, but I'm whiling away the time, earning my non-alcoholic beverage. So I went to blackjack. And something happened that got my attention, and I said, did that just happen? And so when I played again, I was a little bit more mindful. And when I pressed hold for my hand, I had something like a 19, and the dealer was showing a 6, and I pressed hold, the machine hit me. So I busted out, and I thought, did that just happen? And when I bust out, I double my money for the next one, and then double and double. And, when I'm playing quarter blackjack, that's easy to do. So now it's like the third time I do it, and that same scenario happens. I make sure I look at my finger, I look at the buttons, I look at the screen button. I was very mindful that I was choosing stay, and the machine hit me, and I busted out. So I went and got one of the video managers, whatever you want to call them, and she handed me $1 and said, well, play in front of me, and let's see what happens. And it took a couple hands for that same thing to happen. She immediately shut down the machine. She clicked out the ticket, said, thanks for letting me know, handed me the ticket of 25 cents that was left over. I lost under $5. Definitely in this game. You could switch it out for the free non-alcoholic beverage I got. But it's the principle of the thing. Should I have gone to somebody and asked for something a little bit more, like some kind of free play, something like that? I just felt like 25 cents for losing $3 to $4.50 would have been something nicer. What do you guys think? What's the etiquette here? Thanks a lot. Love the show.
What's your personality, right? How much effort do you want to go to complain, to say that you lost?
Although I think they should have given him like $5.
Well, yeah, she should have. First of all, she should have done something.
Yeah.
And, I guess you should have said something at the time when she was just giving you 25 cents.
I would have said, well, don't I get my $5 back since the machine was kind of ripping me off? Right. Or do I need to go to Gaming Commission?
Yeah, right.
Honestly, I mean, that's something the Gaming Commission, wait a minute, are all the, does this happen regularly?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, how many people notice this?
But again, how much effort do you want to put into it for the amount of money you're talking about? And we certainly know people who would absolutely complain and try to get some more out of it even. Hey, I don't just want my $5 back. I want a free meal and, et cetera. Right. And then there's some who just, what's a proper etiquette? There really isn't.
Well,
I mean, this is just...
As the pit person or the person in charge, I would have just said, well, how much did you put in originally? Yeah. And they said $5, $20, whatever. Okay, here you go. I'm going to give you $20 or $5.
Yeah, or even in free play. Here, I'll give you 20 in free play. You lost $5. Here's 20 in free play.
Here's 20 in free play. Sorry, the machine messed up. Shut it down. We'll figure it out. There must be a glitch.
But how much stress can your personality take when it comes to complaining about stuff like that?
So for me, zero.
Yeah, for that amount of money.
I just want to move on.
Yeah. So don't feel bad.
Although he is getting probably a watered down, well,
he said it was a non-alcoholic drink, so it might have been, Pepsi from the gun or something.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. You're getting watered down Pepsi from the gun, so maybe you deserve more than $5. Does swill qualify as a non-alcoholic beverage?
I think that's non-alcoholic. Yeah, I guess it depends on how long it's been out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. They might charge for it if it's been out for a couple of days.
This swill's a little fermented. We're gonna have to charge you for this.
That's right. Cherry or no cherry. All right. Next up is David.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is David from NorCal calling. And a quick question for you guys. It's everyone's wish or dream to be able to hit it big on a table. Let's say you make 10 grand on a craps table, blackjack table, whatever. What tips do you have for making sure that you leave that table and make it back safely to your room? Is there anything the casino can do to help you out there, walking you there with security, or just what advice would you have in those scenarios? Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, if you're uncomfortable, with the amount of money, of
You
course,
can always ask for security.
always, yeah.
Yeah, and they will most definitely accommodate you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say I want someone to walk me up to my room or out to my car, they will do that.
Yeah.
Every
And,
casino I've been in.
if you're comfortable just saying, just get me to the elevator and make sure nobody's on with me, or, whatever you want to do, but definitely ask.
Yeah.
Other options too are if you've got a lot of money and you're, in this example, he's actually staying at the hotel, consider taking your money and put your money on deposit with the casino. Right, that you could draw against with a marker or get it later, that kind of thing. Then you're not taking the money up to the room.
Right.
If you are actually leaving the property, not his example, but, maybe you're staying at another hotel. Yeah, that's the kind of situation where you really have to be aware of your surroundings and look around, avoid dark areas.
It's always better if you're with other people too.
Yeah,
if you're even one other person, you're much safer than on your own.
But even Vegas, when we've had large sums of cash, we're looking all over the place. And, when we get in the car, we're looking in our rear view mirror. And, when we go to the room, we're watching. So, yeah, having a buddy, that's certainly maybe the best thing.
That is the best thing. Do you remember this story, Mark? We were on our way to the airport, and I particularly had quite a bit of cash in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And the driver evidently was somewhat new. And he headed to the airport, and then instead of turning where we knew he should turn to go to the airport, he turned the other way and started going away from the airport, like to the desert area.
Yes.
And I was about to, crap my pants because I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy's going to roll us.
Yeah.
We're going to get out here. He's going to leave us for dead in the desert, or what? His buddy's going to meet us. Turns out he was just
a bad driver.
And confused and lost. And he was new to this country.
Right. So you really didn't know the area.
And he didn't
how
know
to get
the
there,
area and everything.
This was long before cell phones and GPS
way
and
before
everything.
cell phones and stuff like that. It's the only time I've really been actually really scared. I thought, oh my God, we're in big trouble.
Yeah. But again, if you feel uncomfortable going to your room, definitely ask security.
Right. Definitely.
The worst case, you may have to wait a little bit for somebody to do it. But
I've never felt unsafe in the casino or going up to the room if it's in that casino.
Yeah.
Because, I just make sure I'm the only one on the elevator.
Right.
Someone else steps in, I just wait for the next one.
Right.
But if I was leaving the casino walking somewhere, that's a different story. And you do have to be very careful for that.
Yeah. All right, next up is Jim. Now, Jim called us back on episode 201, where he talked about making the 6-card bonus side bet at a 3-card poker table. $25 for himself and $1 for the dealers. He ended up making 4 of a kind, which paid 100 to 1. When the floor supervisor came over to approve Jim's $2,500 payout, he told Jim that players actually can't make bets for the dealers on the 6-card bonus bet because some of the payouts are too high. For example, a royal flush pays like 1,000 to 1, so a dollar would pay $1,000.
Right.
And they have to tax winnings once they're over a certain point, and they don't have a way to tax all of the dealers. And we heard that and thought, what?
Yeah,
it just doesn't sound right at all.
We were a bit confused about that.
All right. So this doesn't successfully close the door on this issue, but Jim does have a follow-up that is at least somewhat satisfying.
All right. Let's hear this.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Jim from Ohio. I called a while ago and caused quite a kerfuffle on your show, I guess. I'm telling a story about hitting 4 of a kind on the 3-card poker table and the dealer bet being disallowed because of a certain payout and somebody having to pay taxes.
Anyway, I wanted to call back with a little bit of clarification on that I received a week or so ago. I was at the same casino playing craps. They don't have the fire bet. They have different side bet, but one of the players had a bet in there for the dealers, and they ended up doing really well and hit, I guess, 1,500 to some 2,000 to 1 payout, and they had to get approval from the pit supervisor or pit manager, and he came over and approved the $2,000 payout for the dealers like it was nothing. And I didn't want to say anything that would stop the dealers from getting paid, of course. So I waited until a few minutes later when I left the table, and I asked the same pit manager and said, "Hey, is that okay?" And he said, "Of course it's okay." And okay, well, I was here once before, told the story, and he gave me the sideways look and said, "Taxes? What do you mean? The dealers pay taxes on their paychecks, so that's where the taxes are taken out. No, if somebody told you that bet wasn't allowed, they were completely wrong." So anyway, I thought I'd follow up with that. But the point of the call, I was listening to your last episode, and you were talking about a minimum buy-in at a craps table, and I have to say, I think that would be a great idea, especially with pandemic times. For a while there, we were down to 3 players per side on a craps table, and I can't tell you how many times I'd go to a casino and there'd be a wait list to get on a craps table, and I would see, somebody get to the rail and it's their turn, and this one guy in particular pulled out $45 to buy in on a $25 table, and he bet a $15 hard 10 and then had it turned off immediately, and he would stand there for 10 or 12 rolls with his one single $15 hard 10 bet turned off, and then he'd turn it on for 1 or 2 rolls, turn it back off. And I thought it was ridiculous that somebody could stand there with $15 in action once out of every 6 to 10 rolls and take up, 17% of their available slots for players. And I thought, minimum buy-in could eliminate or reduce some of that. So you can put me in the camp of being full. Take your time. Have a good day. Good luck on the tables.
Okay, so his example there at the end, that did kind of make sense when casinos reopened right after the shutdown because, it was really prime real estate at the craps table and the blackjack tables. So I can understand a minimum buy-in during that time. I think we're past that. I don't think we're going to see minimum buy-ins really become a thing. We've only heard of a couple places in Biloxi. We haven't seen it anywhere else. I don't see it happening.
Unless we go back to COVID problems where
of course, yeah. If they limit the number of spaces, I could see it coming out.
I'd be so furious if a guy was taking up a space, betting, 2 rolls out of every 10 or something. Oh my God, that would drive me crazy. And we've seen people do that kind of stuff. When there's plenty of room, it's no big deal.
Right.
I mean, do what you want to do.
Yeah, by all means. Yeah.
The pit must hate that because then they have to... what does he really bet when they're trying to rate him, trying to keep track of how much? Because when he's off, he has no action.
Right.
He's 0 rating, right? So that they must love a player like that. And I'm glad he followed up on the thing. Now, isn't that one of the things we said?
Oh, yeah.
That the pit just didn't know what they were talking about?
Yeah. Who knows what this original floor person was thinking when he was talking to Jim?
He didn't know what he was talking about.
It just makes absolutely no sense.
It's another one of those examples, and I think I said it at the time, where they don't know exactly what's right or wrong.
Right.
So they just make something up. Instead of finding out...
They don't want to look like they don't know.
Right.
So they
Instead of finding out the truth and just saying, look, I don't know. Let me check on that.
Yeah, right.
And then go check on it, call somebody who does know. No, they don't want to look bad. And so they make up some cockamamie story. Yeah. And who's going to question them?
Yeah, right. I mean, you're not in charge of the casino. Some pit boss is telling you. Right. But again, we've seen thousands of dollars get dropped into the boxes for dealers, right? With fire bets and everything.
Right.
And here's this new floor just saying, well, yeah, it's fine. Whoever told you this originally didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah, and like the new floor said, all their tips get put into their paycheck.
Yeah, right.
They get divided up and they figure out, okay, this is how much you earn, and this is your tips, and this is your total paycheck, and then that gets taxed. That happens in restaurants with waiters and waitresses.
It happens in a lot of businesses.
Yeah. So.
All right. Thanks for the call, Jim. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Coles from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Recent listener, discovered your podcast through the Red Eye Gamblers podcast a few weeks ago, and so I listened to you guys and love the show. I took my first Vegas trip back over Thanksgiving week back in the fall and learned how to play the game of craps before I went out there and Played a few times with a little bit of luck, kind of up and down, and had a lot better luck on the blackjack table, as a matter of fact. Went about 8 for 8 playing blackjack and about 1 for 3 playing craps. But I love the game of craps, and, down here in Virginia, there's not a whole lot of casinos to visit, at least close by. So I was wondering what you guys do as far as kind of practice to get your fix of your craps play before the next time is that you can get down to our local casino. So are there any online kind of games or websites that you use to sort of practice new or different strategies, or how do you go about getting your practice craps fixed? So let me know. Love the show. Can't wait to hear from you. Thank you.
Well, we're going to the casino every week. So,
well, to answer this question properly, Mark, we're going to have to go back to the days before there were Indian casinos.
Yes.
And we only went to Vegas, twice a month. And then what we did in the weeks in between.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, our friend Paul built a craps table.
Right.
And we just played at home and took turns being the house.
Yeah,
That's
took each other's money. We also, at times, would have a little craps layout that you could lay on a regular table.
Right.
We'd play that way.
Yep.
I had a little handheld thing that played craps.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
You could put in your bets and everything. And, just like one of those little poker machines. Or
those real old ones. Yeah.
Those real old ones. I had one of those. So those are ways to practice.
Yeah. These days, honestly, I don't use any websites. Or we don't really play online. The only program I use to run simulations and things like that is WinCraps. It's a Windows program. You're able to do a lot of things with it, program different strategies. It's got a lot of the exotic bets like fire bets and all small tall, things like that. But that's what I use. So, that's a way you can kind of just play for fun.
My suggestion, if you really want to just practice and try different strategies out, is just buy yourself a little felt, which you can get in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
You can order one online.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get big ones, small ones.
Nice ones, crappy ones.
Yeah. And then just, get some cheap chips. And, say, okay, I'm starting with 500 and just roll the dice on the floor and make bets and see how systems work or, do it with a friend or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. Or just go every week like us.
Yeah, it's another option
and
too.
Move to San Diego.
All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. My name's Denver and I live in Dallas. I'm just calling to report a trip from July 20th to the 23rd. 5 couples went. The wives went to go see Usher, and on that night, me and another buddy went on to the Mirage and got on a Crapless Craps table for $15. I played the Extreme for $60, which is the 2, 3, 11, and 12, and the pass line with double odds. I bought in for $800 and cashed out for $5,800. The Extreme numbers just kept hitting. 6-1 on the 2 and 12, and 3-1 on the 3 and 11. I'd hit one and pressed it up $15. If it hit again, I'd go up to 100. Multiple times, at least one of those numbers would roll 3 times on a given shooter. I started on the table around 11 p.m. At 4:30 a.m., there were only 2 players left. I finally glanced at the table min plaque, and it read 100 minimum. I asked why, and they replied, "We're trying to shut this table down, but you two keep on winning." I appreciate they grandfathered us in. So I was tired, and me and this other guy, who I only knew from that night, colored up, and we left the table. Obviously, that's an extreme winning percentage. After listening to y'all's podcast for the last couple months, I'm sure Dr. Mike, I know he's never played a Crapless Craps table, because at least from what I've heard, and the way he likes to bet, from what I hear and pressing up, who knows how much he would have won from the Mirage that night. But I do highly recommend Dr. Mike and Mark, both of you, finding the Crapless Craps table at some point and playing those extremes and enjoying it. We stayed at the Flamingo. The table mins were basically 25 and sometimes 50. I went to Ellis Island a couple of times. Table minimum was $5 over there. That way help all the players play, with the wives not being big gamblers. That was fun for them to get on the table a little bit. Went on to Caesars, normally 25 and 50. Went to Cromwell, found a $15 table there. Went downtown, went to Circa just to see how beautiful it is and really nice property downtown. Moved on over and played a little bit at Binion's. Played over at Golden Gate. Moved on over down
You got cut off there. Yeah, we've played at Crapless Craps tables
Yeah, we've
before.
played them before.
Yeah. The interesting thing, I guess, about Crapless Craps is, you can have points of 2, 3, 11, and 12.
Right.
And you can place them, or really it's buy bets. You buy them.
Right.
And like Denver said, right, the 2 and 12 pays 6 to 1, and the 3 and 11 pay 3 to 1. So, yeah, if you get
if you're
some
getting a
repeaters
lot
on there.
of craps numbers coming up, you can really make some money.
Yeah. The problem is, the pass line has a much higher house edge, as a result of those rules.
Right.
But, sure, every once in a while.
I guess we're traditionalists.
Yeah, that's right.
We stick with the regular game.
Yeah. I like this story about, though, how they raised the minimums,
Minimum,
up to $100, just so new people wouldn't come to the table, right?
Because they figured these two are eventually going to get tired and leave.
Right, yeah.
We just don't want any new people coming. And that does happen. They'll say, in an hour, this is going from 10 to 25.
Yeah.
And people, groan and everything. And they're just trying to weed down the tables.
Yeah. Well, and in some extreme cases, they'll just shut the table down.
Yeah, right.
Say, after, this shooter, we're done. After this next point is made,
got to
we're
go
done.
to the next table. These guys are off.
Yeah.
Well, it's a business thing.
Oh, sure.
Because, they can't keep 4 dealers there for 2 people bet,
Right, exactly. And, maybe the dealers are always already working overtime.
They're already on their overtime. Yeah, they want to go home.
Yeah. All right, last call. Let's hear from Ken again.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Ken from South Orange County again. Just to get a background on my play style, I usually start off with a modified version of the Iron Cross, and after a couple of hits, I go to inside and then progress to across. And for me to get to across, the shooter's doing pretty good. So as they're trying to roll the point, it bothers me so much when they start rolling horn numbers because I don't have action on it. And, I don't want to waste any rolls that's not a 7 out because, you never know when the 7's coming. So sometimes I just want to put a little C&E bet out there, like a $6 or $8 C&E. So what my question is, in the long run, am I costing myself money to make that C&E bet? Or am I going to gain money by making that C&E bet? Because it does hedge my bets. When it hits, it's great. But when it doesn't hit, I lose some of my place bet money. So I was just wondering what you guys think. I know Mark's probably saying don't bet it, and Dr. Mike's saying bet it. But I just want to know what the numbers say in your simulations that you make, Mark. All right, thanks for the show. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks.
Mike, how many times have we been in the middle of a hot roll, really good roll, and then like 3 will come up and we'll just yell, "God, wasted roll, completely wasted."
More times than I can count, Mark. It infuriates me too when in the middle, because I only bet craps numbers on the come out.
Yeah, your prop bets are pretty much only on the come out.
Mm-hmm. In the middle of the roll, guy, has made 4 or 5 numbers. I'm thinking it's a good roll. All of a sudden, 3, 11, 11, 12. And I'm thinking, why isn't this at the beginning of the roll when I could make money? Because at that point, I don't make any. And a lot of people, especially at Harris Rincon, when one craps number is rolled, they all, give me a
right afterwards. They like
give me a horn bet right afterwards. Like 2 of them are going to come up in a row. We never do that.
Yeah.
And when 4 of them come up in a row, we're just, ugh.
Well, Ken, I'm not going to say you shouldn't make the bet, but your question was, will you lose money in the long run or win money in the long run? And the answer is you will lose money in the long run.
Yeah, you shouldn't bet it.
Every bet at the craps table, other than the free odds behind it, every bet is a loser in the long run, even if it's a bet in combination with other bets. You're saying this is like a hedge when you're in the middle of a hot roll so that these horn numbers, will win for you. But just because you're making that bet, a horn bet, in the middle of a hot roll, that doesn't make that bet any better than any other time. So yes, you're still going to lose that in the long run. Hey, maybe what you should do, Ken, is find a Crapless Craps table where, you're getting all the numbers and then you spread out to the 3 and 11 and the 2 and 12.
Right,
Then you've got them all.
Yeah, eventually, he said he eventually goes across, gets across. Well, on a hot roll, you eventually get them all.
There you go.
You're sitting there, come on, 12, come on, 12.
Yep. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring PayPal donations. Brian Dancer, Brian and Sarah, and Josh. Thank you very much. We also got a donation from Brandon. Dr. Mike, my favorite cereal is Fruit Loops. even though I'm a grown-up. Isn't that the best part of being a grown-up? Take care, fellas. Yeah, you were talking about Fruit Loops.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because as a child, I couldn't tell you that one cereal was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Because I liked Fruit Loops, and sometimes my mom would get Cocoa Puffs, and I like that.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I just have to have cornflakes.
Yeah,
just
sure.
plain old cornflakes or plain old Cheerios.
Yeah.
Real Cheerios, not the store brand
Exactly,
Cheerios.
right. Yeah, not the generic. Yeah.
There is a difference.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I find we like Fruit Loops a lot.
Okay, Fruit Loops, your big one.
Yeah.
Well, it's always been Quisp for me, and it
Yeah,
always
I know.
will be, even though it's hard to find in our area. But I'll tell you, these new ads for Fruit Loops that they've been playing, they're so colorful.
Yeah, they're very
and
colorful.
vibrant. I think I'm going to go buy some Fruit Loops. I think that's good advertising.
That is good advertising. What's your favorite hot cereal?
Oh, I'm not a hot cereal guy. I'll say Mapo.
Ooh.
That's
I've always liked cream of wheat.
okay.
I
whatever.
love cream of wheat. I could eat cream of wheat every day, really. Oatmeal, take it or leave it. But cream of wheat I could eat every day.
I'm not a hot cereal guy.
I got a special technique for my cream of wheat, which I won't divulge on this episode.
Oh, I don't think
I'll save that.
All right, I don't think I want to hear it ever then.
Yeah, no,
if you don't
I'll
want to
save
talk
it.
about it on this show.
I'll save it.
We also got a donation from Neil. Karma donation for an upcoming trip to Las Vegas, July 28th through August 1st. However, this isn't a gambling trip. My son Keith qualified for the UNAA, Ultimate Ninja Athlete Association, World Championships being held at the Orleans Arena. He's only 9 years old, and this will be his first trip to Vegas and first time competing at a competition this big. Hopefully, this brings him good luck on the obstacle course. Well, good luck.
And I
Keith.
love American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, that's great.
Those guys are great
it's
athletes.
fun to watch. Yeah.
And, it's coming out that the younger kids dominate this.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then now they lowered the age limit for adults. And, I mean, these are like 14, 15-year-olds who are kicking butt.
Oh, interesting. Because
strength to body weight ratio is better.
Yeah. We also got a donation from Anne, who told us about the modified Iron Cross. Karma donation for an upcoming Vegas trip with my husband, August 15th through the 20th. Hoping to find some $10 tables and trying out the new modified Iron Cross betting strategy at the craps tables. Well, good luck, Anne. Maybe try downtown, too. You'll probably have better luck finding the $10 tables.
Early in the morning.
Yeah, or, middle of the week, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
We also got a donation from Ken that we met at the casino last week. Here is a hard 6 or 8 for both of you. If it hits, parlay it. May the dice be nice. All right, so we got to do that. We'll take his donation. We're going to bet it this weekend.
All right, very good.
We also got a donation from Jay. Karma donation for upcoming Vegas trip. Started playing slots after your sister-in-law's episodes, and I've hit some jackpots at local casinos. Hoping to hit my first in Vegas. I still play plenty of craps too. Jay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Jay.
Yep.
And we also got a donation from Pat, our friend from Canada. Again, Pat, hope you have a great time in Vegas. August trip. Again, he hasn't been there in a couple of years because of the shutdown.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's able to go.
We haven't seen a lot of people that we used to see, once a year at least, sometimes twice a year.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have to, hopefully things will get back. By the end of summer and October will be fine, and we'll have this big trip and everyone will come.
Yep, I hope so. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. What do you got for us, Dr. Mike?
Well, all I've got tonight, Mark, is that the trading deadline for baseball's coming up.
Yes.
And the Padres are trying as hard as they can to get Scherzer from the Washington Nationals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would love it if they get him. That guy's a stud.
Yeah.
He's a great pitcher.
Yep.
But it looks like the Dodgers are going to land him.
Yeah, okay.
So the latest reports
need.
that I heard this afternoon, it looks like the Dodgers may be the team that signs him.
Okay.
And that would be the worst thing for the Padres. Judge Dave would be happy.
Yeah.
But we do not want him to go to the Dodgers because with him, the Dodgers will be more formidable than they already are.
Yeah.
And I still think they're going to win this division.
Okay.
Even though I think they're 3 games behind San Francisco as of right now. But they're still going to win this division.
Okay.
Yeah, look for them. They're so tough.
Yep.
But we're still praying for the Padres.
Yep.
They're very exciting.
Oh, very fun to watch.
So,
yeah,
you know, other than our weekly trip to the casino, that dominates my life.
Oh, very good.
Padres. And now the Olympics, too.
Yeah, well, I'm a
which
big
I've
Olympics
enjoyed.
guy. Yeah, I watch everything I can.
It's funny because I asked your father about the Olympics, and he said, no, I don't watch it.
Yeah, he's not big. My mom's big on it, but no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't follow it. And I was surprised because he's retired and at home and he likes sports. I'm thinking, oh, he's going to be watching tons of Olympics.
No.
I mean, that's what I'd be doing if I was at home
No,
every day.
he loves baseball. He'll watch other teams,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. That's his sport, yeah.
But he's just not going to watch the
No,
Olympics.
I'm not interested, no.
I love seeing all the sports that we don't get to see.
Yeah, that's my thing too. I really enjoy it.
You know, and then deservedly so. Those athletes are great athletes, and a lot of them do not make a lot of money at their sport. They do it for the love of the sport, and we should be watching them and celebrating them and you know, happy. One of my daughters, I was so proud of her the other day. Some American finished like 4th or 5th, and she said, well, that's still 4th in the world. You're still the 4th fastest person in the world. It was some swimming race.
Yeah.
And I thought, good for you. That's the approach everyone
good
should
attitude,
have.
yep.
Oh, just to be there. Can you imagine just being picked to be an Olympian?
No, I can't because I'm usually, you know, eating M&Ms, lying down, watching it, right? So
I'm on the couch eating Fruit Loops and dreaming about Hershey's bars with almonds, you know, thinking, boy, it'd be nice to be in the Olympics. Then I look down and I can't see my feet.
Yeah.
And I think,
keep dreaming, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, that's my dream.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
El Cajon? That's the anus of San Diego.